नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़ऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. Today is the beginning of our sixth lecture. If you remember, we're continuing our series of lectures about the life of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the first lecture, we described the condition of Arabia and things that were preceding the Holy Prophet. We described in the second lecture the religions around the world, the various countries, and which religion dominated each of those countries. In the third lecture, we started describing the religions that were popular in Arabia and especially around Mecca and Medina, and which tribes lived around there. And in the fourth lecture, we come and describe the specific condition of the tribes and the Prophet's family. And then in the fifth lecture, we started talking about the conditions surrounding the birth of the Holy Prophet. So today is our sixth lecture. It will describe the situation and conditions around the awarding of prophethood, when the Prophet achieved the rank or was awarded prophethood by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when the Prophet achieved an age of 40 years old, and then his Gregorian age is 39 years and some months, and his lunar age is 40 years and some months, because the lunar month is shorter than the solar month. Then he basically started loving solitude. He started becoming introspective and reflective. And as he proceeded in his introspection and reflection and soul searching, he found that he was at odds with the beliefs in the society, that he did not agree with the things that the Quraysh followed. And the beliefs that the Quraysh followed did not fit into his sense and his intelligence. So he started loving solitude, he became reflective, he became introspective, and in the month of Ramadan, the Holy Prophet would leave his house and go into the cave of Hira, which is a couple of miles, 2 miles from Mecca. It is on the side of a trail or a path, and it's formed by the joining of two cliffs at the top. This cave is only 12 feet by 5 feet 3 inches. It is not very deep. And so what he would do is he would take some provisions with him, some food and some water. In the beginning, his wife, Khadija radiallahu would accompany him. They would go together, they would stay there. The Holy Prophet would do some ta'abbud, he would do some ibadah, some worship. He would do introspection, reflection, soul searching. He would quiet his soul from the distractions and the common issues surrounding the world and the society of that time. And so in this quietness and this solitude, where it was completely calm, he was able to think about the creation and why the world was created and what was his purpose in life. And Hazrat Khadija would stay close to him, and they would serve food to the passers-by who needed food and water. So they would be hospitable, and then the Holy Prophet could. And every 2 to 3 days in Ramadan, they would come back, take more provisions, and go back. And this continued for 3 years. And so in the third year, something unique happened, something unbelievable happened, something very good happened. And so leading up to that, so first of all, understand that the gulf or the rift or the divide between the Holy Prophet and the beliefs that were practiced in society had become very vast at that time. And even though he didn't have a clear path in front of him of which way to go, how to do things, which guideline to follow, he knew that the way of the Quraysh, the way of idol worshipping, the way of believing in multiple gods, the way of treating women with the disrespect, the way of the moral depravity of society, the way of oppression of the poor and the needy was not the way to go. He knew that he had a better path, and he knew he had a higher calling. He just did not know what that was going to be. This is also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's preparation for the Holy Prophet, that you become cut off from society temporarily. You go, you search your soul, you think about creation, you think about the universe, you think about the world around you, where it's going and where you want to go and how you want to change. So this change, this delta we are going to see in society. So the first 4 or 5 lectures were focused on creating a background or an outline or a baseline status of where society was. And so this was the Holy Prophet's now preparation. It was his internship, so to say, to get him ready for changing the course of history for humanity, for the rest of the world till the end of time. So away from the din and noise, and in the third year, you could see the signs of prophethood. They started shining over the horizon in his personality. So when he achieved an age of 40 years, which is the age of maturity for most prophets, and also human emotional, social maturity and intelligence at its peak. And this is also, I believe, listed about Musa alayhi salam, that at the age of 40, he came to his maximum strength. And so it is that most prophets were awarded prophethood at 40 years old. Well, the Holy Prophet was 40 years old. Then he was awarded the prophethood. So what were the first signs of prophethood, right? The first signs of prophethood were true dreams. Aisha radiallahu said that for 6 months before the Holy Prophet achieved prophethood, he would see good and true dreams. And in the morning, and these dreams would come true like the daylight, like the breaking of the sun above the horizon. So they would come true. And so this was the first sign of prophethood. And they say, there's a saying that true dreams or good dreams are 1/46th part of prophethood. And here's the reason. For 6 months, the Holy Prophet saw these dreams, and his term as a prophet was 23 years. So if you take 6 months as the numerator and you divide it by 23 years as the denominator, you come up with 1/46 parts. So there's a saying in our language that good dreams or true dreams are 1/46th part of prophethood. It is because of that duration of 6 months. So in the third year of his travel to Hira and his introspection, Hazrat Khatija radiallahu had stopped going with him. He was awarded with this immense and incredible gift. That Jibreel comes to him, and there are a couple of narrations. There is Hazrat Aisha radiallahu narration about this. There is the narration that is in Tariq al-Tibri. There is the narration it is in Ibn Hisham. The one in Tibri and the one in Ibn Hisham are very similar, because I believe they follow the history of Ibn Ishaq, whereas the one in Sahih al-Bukhari and so forth are slightly different, because those imams did their own research in establishing what happened. And they're very, very similar, but I would not say that they're identical. So Jibreel comes to the Holy Prophet and he says to the Holy Prophet, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi qalaq, خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So Iqra, read in the name of the Lord who created man from a clot of blood. خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Read, because your Lord is extremely generous. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Right? He taught a man the knowledge of the pen. الذي علم بالقلم. He taught man the knowledge of the pen. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Taught man what he knew not. So when the angel first came to the Prophet and he said, Iqra, the Holy Prophet said, I am not literate. So the angel grabs the Holy Prophet and squeezes him, as the Holy Prophet says, that I felt that the strength left my body. So the angel says for a second time, Iqra, and the Holy Prophet says again that I am not literate. And then he squeezes him again, and the third time the angel says, Iqra, and squeezes the Holy Prophet again, and then lets him go. So the question is, like, when did this happen, right? So there is a narration from Abu Qatada, and it says, then Abu Qatada asked the Holy Prophet that, why do you fast on Mondays? The Holy Prophet says, because I was born on Monday, and also because I was awarded prophethood and the revelation came to me on Monday. Now if you think about this, the Quran says, Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. So we revealed Quran in the month of Ramadan. And the Quran also says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. And within Ramadan, we reveal Quran on the night of Laylatul Qadr. Aisha radiallahu in his Sahih Hadith says that look for Laylatul Qadr in the odd days of the last 10 days of Ramadan. So the 21st, the 23rd, the 25th, the 27th, and the 29th. So if we combine these three and we see what odd night of the month fell on a Monday in the last 10 days, that is the 21st of Ramadan. So the only Monday that fell on an odd night of Ramadan in the last 10 days was the 21st of Ramadan. So this is our deduction that the Quran was revealed to the Holy Prophet on the 21st of Ramadan, when according to his Gregorian age he was 39 years and some months, and also according to his lunar age he was 40 years and so many months. So with that we go forward. So the Holy Prophet then is very scared. He is a little bit afraid for his life. His heart is beating fast. And he comes to Khatija radiallahu and he says, what has happened to me? I fear for my life. And the Khadija radiallahu says that God will not disgrace you. And I want you to listen carefully to the reasons that Khadija radiallahu, she gives him hope. She calms him down. But look at the beautiful reason she gives him. She says to him, the reason why God will not disgrace you is because you are kind. You're kind to people. You carry the load of the weary. You help those in need. You are hospitable to guests, and you help those in suffering. I'm going to step away from this lecture and say a few words that have really impressed me. If you look at all of these things, kindness to others, hospitality to guests, carrying the load of the weary, helping those in need, and helping those in disasters, these are not attributes that form the physicality of Islam. Frequently, we look at, to be a Muslim, you have to have a very strong belief system, right? Amantu billahi, you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa malaikatihi and his angels, wa kutubihi and his books, wa rusulihi and his messengers, wal qadri khairihi wa sharri, and you believe that good and bad is coming from qadr, it's been written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you believe in your accountability, your resurrection, your life after death, right? And so what happens is, after this belief system, we have some obligatory prayers, right? We have 5 obligatory prayers, which we call our first prayers. We have zakah, we have saum, and we have our hajj. And then there is the appearance of Islam. So we are very focused on following the obligatory prayers and also the appearance of Islam, the physical form of Islam. So for example, we wear ibaya, we wear kufi, we wear thawb, we wear a cap on our head, we grow a beard, we have our trousers above our ankles, we drink water in 3 sips, we sit down when we drink water, and we say Alhamdulillah after each one. And so we do all of these things, right? Which is very good. But think about a car, right? When you go to buy a car, you look at the color, you look at the trim. Some people like the sports package, some people like leather seats, some people like certain colors on the interior, some colors of the exterior, they like certain types of hubcaps, aluminum, chrome, whatever you like it. But you see, the main function of the car is to get you to point A, and from point A to point B, right? So the function is far more important than the form. So the blue color is nice, the chrome is fine, the stainless steel is fine, the hubcaps are nice, the year, make, model is fine. But if you have a Ferrari, a Porsche, a Lamborghini, and a Corvette standing parked in your driveway, when your wife says in the morning we're out of milk, and you run to the local store and get some milk for the kids' cereal, and you say the cars can't drive, then essentially that function has been trumped to the form. So the function is far more important, and the function is what should lead the form and not the other way. So what I want to remind you about, what Hazrat Khadija radiallahu says to the Holy Prophet, is that you do good in society, that you are a good person, that you help others. You carry the load of other people. You are hospitable. You are kind. You help people in duress. And these are the reasons why God will not disgrace you. But frequently, we get lost in the physical form of Islam instead of the functionality and the spirit and the soul and the reality of Islam. So just to come back. So the Holy Prophet runs back to his house, and he says to Khadija, this has happened. She consoles him. And then she takes him to her cousin, who is Warqa bin Nawfal. Warqa bin Nawfal is a Christian scholar. He writes the Bible in Hebrew. And Warqa bin Nawfal says that this is the same. He says, Quddus, the Holy One, the Holy One. He says this is the same message that came to Musa alayhi salam. And you will be evicted, you will be ostracized, you will be persecuted by your people. And I wish that I was alive. If I am alive at the time when you are getting persecuted, I will support you. And Warqa dies shortly afterward. The narration in Hisham and Tabri describes the same thing, but with a slight variation. The narration in Tabri says that the Holy Prophet, the angel, came to him. And when he came to him, the Holy Prophet thought to himself that I dislike and despise nothing more than crazy people, the madman, and also the poets. I have a disdain for these people, and I would never want to be. And I had such a disdain that I could never look at these people in my real life. But when this message came to me, and I thought I'm going to go back and tell the people about this message and recite these verses, people will call me a poet and a madman. So I thought that I would never want to suffer this humiliation in the hands of Quraysh. So let me go to the top of a mountain, and let me throw myself off the top of the mountain. and so I will be destroyed, I will be relieved, and I will not have to face this humiliation and embarrassment. And with this thought, he left the cave of Hira and he started climbing a mountain. And when he was in the middle of the mountain, he was not completely at the top, he saw a voice called out to him. He looked up, it was an angel standing and suspended between the sky and the earth. And the angel said to him that you are a prophet of God and I am Jibreel. And so he says that I continued to look at this angel, and wherever I would put my eyes around in the horizon, I would see the same angel, until I completely forgot about the time. And Khadija radiallahu, his wife, sent a messengers looking for him all over but couldn't find him in Mecca. Came back home, so he comes back to Khadija. She says, Abul Qasim, where have you been? And he says that this is what has happened to me. And so she gives him hope, consoles him. And then in this Tibri narration, the Holy Prophet, who has exited the cave of Hira before the due date that he's supposed to leave, before the 3 or 4 days are over, before the provisions have run out, then returns, then stays in his house. Khadija radiallahu alone goes to Waraqah, gets the message of comfort, comes back and tells the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet comes back to the cave of Hira after getting the message, fulfills the 3 or 4 days, comes back, and then he goes to meet Waraqah bin Nawfal. So minor difference, and it depends upon which historian you follow, but all very similar. So let's go further and talk about this. The Holy Prophet says, when I came back to Khadija radiallahu, I rested my thigh against her, and she said, Abul Qasim, where have you been? And then we know what had happened, and we know about the narration we just talked about the narration with Waraqah bin Nawfal. However, right after this, the revelation stops for 2 to 3 days. I want to go back and explain something. There is a disagreement in the scholars about when the first wahi came. Some scholars say that the prophethood was awarded in the month of Rabiul Awwal, and some say that the prophethood was awarded in Ramadan. And then within Ramadan, there is a difference opinion on which day. So both are correct. The true dreams that the Prophet said, which are the first signs of prophethood, started coming to him in the month of Rabiul Awwal. And then 6 months later, in the month of Ramadan, is when the angel came to him. So there is truth to both opinions. And then within Ramadan, we have just established why we think it is the 21st of Ramadan. So the revelation stopped for 2 to 3 days. During this phase, the Holy Prophet was sad and depressed. He was sad and depressed because now he wanted more of the revelation. He wanted more of the revelation. So there was a combination of fear and anticipation. He was a little bit afraid. He was satisfied because of what Khadija radiallahu had told him, because of Waraqah had told him. But he was also expecting and he was anticipating. And Hafiz Ibn Hajar Asqalani says that this gap came so the Prophet could absorb, the reality could sink in that yes, you are a prophet, that you have been awarded this great rank and office, and now you would be now interested and you would be eager to carry the mission forward. And this is why this hiatus of 2 to 3 days came. Some people say that this hiatus was 2 to 3 years. We don't agree with this. We think this gap between the first wahi and the second revelation was only 2 to 3 days. And so his inquiry and his inspiration increased. In Sahih al-Bukhari, in Kitab al-Tabir, there is a narration that the Holy Prophet climbed the top of a mountain. So not when he was in the middle of the mountain, he climbed the top of the mountain to potentially throw himself down. And when he got to the top of the mountain, a voice called out to him, and he saw the angel Jibreel, sitting on a chair. So not standing like the earlier narration of Tibri, but sitting on a chair. And so we know where the story went after that. So after the 2 or 3 day hiatus, the Holy Prophet says that I was on my way, and then the second narration came, which was the Surah Mudaththir, the first 4 lines of Surah Mudaththir. Ya ayyuhal mudaththiru qum fa anzir wa rabbaka fakabbir wa thiyabaka fatahhir. So Ya ayyuhal mudaththiru. So when the Holy Prophet in the first revelation had run home, he was shivering and shaking a little bit, and he said to his wife Khadija radhiyallah, cover me with a sheet, cover me with a sheet. So she had covered him with a sheet. He had rested, covered in the sheet against her thigh, and then he had talked to her, after which she had consoled him. But so the second revelation says, Ya ayyuhal muddathir, O he who covers himself, qum fa'anzir, rise and warn, wa rabbaka fakabbir, and glorify your Lord, proclaim the greatness of your Lord, wa thiyabaka fatahhir, and keep your garments clean, wa rudza fahjur, and shy away from filth, leave filth alone, stay away from it. So now the Holy Prophet has become steadfast. He gets his second revelation, and then he is now even more anxious to get more revelations. So now let's talk about the type of revelations, right? We'll step away from this narration to talk about the types of revelations. So the first type of revelation is the true dream, right? We saw that the Holy Prophet was getting true dreams, which would be appearing like the broad daylight or like the sun coming out of the horizon, as Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu describes it, for the first 6 months of his anticipation of prophethood, in his preparation for prophethood. So the first type of revelation is coming of a true dream. The second type of revelation is when the angel comes and puts something in his mind, plants something in his heart and soul and mind, so that he believes in it without actually coming to him. So the angel plants something in the prophet's heart and his soul and his mind, that he believes in it, and that is the second type of revelation. The third type of revelation is the angel comes in a humanoid form, looking like a human being, and in this condition the Sahaba also would see the angels. We know that in the battle of Badr, that Jibreel came to help the Muslims, and some of the Sahaba saw Jibreel riding on a speckled horse, and the Holy Prophet had pointed out to Jibreel to some of the prophets. And the fourth one was with the ringing of a bell. The wahi or the revelation would come with the ringing of a bell, and this was very intense. Even in the time of winter, if the Holy Prophet was cold, then suddenly he would be drenched in sweat. If he was riding a camel, from the weight of the revelation, the camel would sit down. There is a narration that the Holy Prophet was sitting with his leg on top of the leg of Zayd bin Sabit radiyallah, and Zayd bin Sabit radiyallah suddenly felt the Holy Prophet's leg had become so heavy that his leg would get crushed in it. So this was the fourth way. The fifth one was the angel comes in his birth form. Whichever way angels look like, with wings or with the made of light. I don't know what they look like, but whatever way the angel looks like, they come in their original birth form. The sixth way is the way the wahi came to the Holy Prophet on the night of the Miraj. The night of the Miraj, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicated with the Holy Prophet on the night of the Miraj. And the seventh one is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Holy Prophet from behind a veil, like when he was on the top of the heavens on the night of the Miraj, and other times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was communicating with the Holy Prophet, but just a veil in front of them, just a small veil. And then ulama also said that there is an 8th time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked to the Holy Prophet without any veil in the middle, completely directly in front of him. So with this we conclude our 6th lecture, and inshallah we will start with our 7th lecture next week, which is understanding that after the revelation started, the effect it had on the Holy Prophet, the effect it had on his family, the effect it had on his close friends, and how he spread this invitation of the ultimate and the greatest and the best truth to the humanity around him in Arabia, in the tribe of Quraysh. Jazakallahu khair.